Hello everyone. I'm currently traveling right now, and yesterday I ended up walking into a bookstore, not like a Barnes and Noble type of bookstore, but kind of like those small ones where they sell older books, and you kind of have to search through. You don't know what you're going to find. So I decided I was just going to choose a book that I'd never read before, and we're going to attempt to make something from it. So this is the book that I found. Encyclopedia Brown's second record book of weird and wondrous facts. I remember coming across Encyclopedia Brown when I was younger. I was not really interested in him at that time. But I remember going oh yeah, I remember that about him. But I'm gonna end up reading through the book and seeing what weird ideas it comes for me to make. So, obviously there's some caveats about how factual these things are because it was copyrighted in 1981. That was 40 years ago. So, some of these things are possibly disproved by now. Just possibly. But it's still an entertaining read, nevertheless. So, here it says, Encyclopedia Brown's first collection of weird and wonderful facts was one of the most popular books ever published by Delacorte Press. Now fans will devour this completely new potpourri of astonishing information, from sports flukes to animal oddities to Aspirin Alley, a loser's hall of fame. Here's a bonanza of lore to surprise and delight even the most skeptical readers. So I may be skeptical, but I'm going to have a good time. Bruce Dagan's comic illustrations add to the fun, and sure, just like the first volume, this is one record book you can't put down. I mean, yeah, if the front cover is any indication of what the illustrations inside are going to be like, they're going to be delightful. So, I'm going to read through this book, and I will get back to you on any ideas that may spark any project ideas. Because quite honestly, you may notice, Okay, I am now back home. I have finished Encyclopedia Brown's second record book of weird and wonderful facts. And I have commentary. So, I mean, it was an intriguing read. It definitely lived up to its name of being weird. But I don't necessarily trust all the facts equally. Because, I mean, there are some facts that are okay, believable, conceivable, got it. But then there are other facts, it's I'm not sure how much of this is an actual fact or how much of this is opinion. I was especially wary of facts that claim to show differences between the sexes. Possibly because of my background at working at a Boy Scout camp, and I just believe a lot of these differences to be bullshit, to put it bluntly. It's it doesn't really matter. It's yeah, they're perceived, we want to find differences between men and women, but I'm not sure how much of that really holds, quite honestly. But there were legitimate facts, and I mean, they were full of drawings similar to this. But most of the drawings, while they were well done, they were the jokes were worse than dad puns. Dad jokes. I mean, I love a good dad joke, but some of these were just terrible. I mean, there were facts that caused me to think, although probably not in the way that the book was expecting me to think. So, like this one here, the expression "to win hands down" comes from horse racing. The jockey relaxes his grip on the reins and drops his hands when victory is certain. That fact I'm willing to believe is true. It seems perfectly reasonable. But then there are other facts. Yeah, we're going to hold off on that fact till later on. Okay. There are other facts. It's like, how is this verified? There's some stuff like, it's against the law to hunt camels in Arizona. I didn't think there were camels in Arizona. What camels exist in Arizona? They're like in Arabia and Africa and possibly Asia. Arizona? Any camel in Arizona is like transported. Or like there was another one where it said like in 1920 there were only 65 black women doctors in all the United States, which simultaneously seems like a very low and very high number. It's like a very low number that there were only 65 black women doctors, but also it's impressive that many got through the United States racial segregation system at the time, because United States has a very problematic history when it comes to both women and black people. Yeah, so and then there were facts like, oh man, I think it's around here. Wait, where is it? I can't find it right now, but there's a fact where it said that in New York, people bite people more than rats bite people. And it's like, how did you measure that? How is that something that you measured? I don't understand, like, because most people, if they get bit, they don't necessarily go and, like, report that. I would assume, like, most instances of people biting people are giving hickeys, I would believe. And it's not like you go to the hospital every time you get a hickey. And, like, the fact that there are more instances of, like, I guess it must be reported cases, honestly. Found it. There was another fact here. Most of what we see of each other, hair and skin, is dead. I know that's true. Because, like, I read in other sources, like, the hair follicle that's alive is actually the part that's embedded in the skin, and when it grows out of the skin, the hair, like, dies and whatnot. And same with skin, like, we constantly slough off skin cells, and so the skin cells that are dead are the ones that are on top. But that sentence itself, most of what we see of each other, hair and skin, is dead, sounds like an emo wet dream. Honestly. And then there are facts that, like, in order to make it more entertaining, they put little jokes on the end of it. So here it says, experts on this subject say you can't burn up more than 12 calories per kiss. At that rate, you'll have to plant 250 smackers to lose 1 pound. Which is like, oh, all right. Until you read the joke and it says, stick to gardening. Ho, ho, ho. This was a children's book. And I swear I'm not making this up. You can read it for yourself. Mr. Sobel didn't think that one through. And I actually found a fact in this book that I know to be wrong. So, I'm sure it was true 40 years ago when this book was published, but I know it is no longer true. So it says, all portraits on United States coins face left, except Lincoln's on the penny. In the year 2000, the United States printed a new dollar coin called the Sacagawea coin. And Sacagawea is facing right. If you don't believe me, go ahead and Google it now. I can wait. I actually decided just to show you for myself instead of forcing you to Google it, but that's a Sacagawea coin. As you can see, she is clearly facing right. We good? Alright. Yeah, also in I think it was 2000 was the whole like start the state quarter thing, and when the United States decided to start changing the backs of all the quarters to represent all 50 states, and then when they finished with all 50 states, I think it took them 10 years. They did like 5 states a year. They decided they had so much fun, they just kept on going. So now you can get like national parks and certain events. And now they're including historical people. I recently came across a Wilma Mankiller state quarter. And the people on state quarters like that, they're often like facing forward. They're not necessarily facing left or right, like the presidents on the coins, who they just do a side profile. And also since then, like, they've altered the nickel in that Thomas Jefferson isn't necessarily facing just left, but he's also, like, they give him more of a 3/4 view. I ended up collecting all 50 state quarters. It took me 17 years. Arkansas was the last one on the list for me. That was the hardest one to get. But yeah, that is a fact that is no longer true. But let's get back to the main point of this video, which is not necessarily to debate about whether these facts are true or not, but to use this as a launching point for expanding my creativity and knitting skills to make something. And I think I found the fact. I personally don't care if this following fact is true or not, because it gave me an idea. So a really gabby rooster can crow 85 times in a half hour. I hate to have been the person to have figured that out. But there is a long-standing tradition, especially in pet toys, but also for human children, to put in squeakers in the toys, or to put in like a music box in the toys. Like at work all the time, it took me months to realize that the lamb chop stuffed animals actually had squeakers inside of them. And like if I see like a squeaky toy, I will give it a squeak. But if I want to make a noisy stuffed animal, those squeaker things that are inside stuffed animals there must be someone who sells them separately from the actual stuffed animals themselves. Yeah. I mean, I was a big fan of Build-A-Bear when I was younger, and one of my Build-A-Bears has a noise box inside of it. And while the noise box no longer works, it's like I know this is something that exists, so it must be possible just to get like the squeaky thing. And when you're making a stuffed animal, a normal person would just put one thing inside, right? But if you're going to make a really gabby rooster, who says you can't put one in each wing, in the middle, in the head, in each of the feet? You can really make an obnoxiously loud stuffed animal. And I think that's what I'm going to make. I'm going to make a obnoxiously loud rooster. So I think first I have to do some research to make sure that it's possible to find the squeaker toy, at least for a relatively decent price. I would need more than one. I would probably need like 6. And hopefully I can get the 6 without having to buy a pack of 100. Because I could see some of the people in my life getting very mad at me for that. But yeah, we're gonna make a really obnoxious rooster. And that's what we're gonna do. One of the things I love about the internet nowadays is that you can find some of the most obscure things. Like, it just never occurred to me, like, hey, I need this obscure thing, let me just put it into Google and it's here. And I literally have the little squeaky thing that goes inside stuffed animals. Like, how cool is that? Like, I ordered more than one. I ordered a pack of 10. So I will have enough to use multiple ones inside the chicken. And I did a quick Google search to find a free chicken pattern. And fortunately, these are smaller than I was expecting them to be. So I was concerned once I found the pattern, like, would these be too big? But I don't think they will be. I think I'll be able to put one of these squeaky things in every part of the rooster that I wanted to put them in. Or chicken at this point, because I did find just a generic chicken pattern instead of just like a rooster pattern. But yeah, my plan is to put 6 of these things inside the same stuffed animal. So I'm thinking 1 in both of the feet, 1 in both of the wings, and then 1 in the head, and 1 in the actual body. Although whether it will be in the actual crotch or more towards the middle of the body has yet to be seen. Maybe it could be both. I do have 10. I could extend this to 7. But yeah, it's like, probably because I don't actually own any pets at home, it never occurred to me before that someone's pet may really love a squeaky toy and then may absolutely demolish a squeaky toy but still insist on having the squeaky toy. So buying replacement squeaky toys exists because people want to make their pets happy. Yeah, I'm just really flabbergasted that I was able to just easily find this online and get it in just a couple days. Like, you couldn't just walk into a brick and mortar store and just buy one of these things without knowing, like, what store would even have one of these things? It would be, yeah, I'm just still just flabbergasted in a good way. I have finished the rooster, or in this case, it may be more of a chicken, but rooster. I probably should have added the dangly thing there, but it's got enough of the red thing to be nice, so. But the fact called for a particularly gabby rooster. So I didn't just stick with one squeaker. So you see there's a squeaker here, there's a squeaker here, and a squeaker here, and a squeaker here. So that's already 4, but wait, there's more. There's one here, and one around here. Last but not least, one down here. So we have 7 squeakers total. And since there's 7 squeakers total, 7 times 12 is 84. So if I did 12 squeaks in succession on every single one of the squeakers, and then on the last one I did 13 instead, I could easily get 85 in an hour. But I don't feel like being that obnoxious at the moment. Well, maybe part of the way there. Yeah. Anyway, that was our inspiration from Encyclopedia Brown. Don't have a name for you yet. I mean, you're a rooster, but I'm thinking like Chatty Cathy. What's like the male version of Chatty Cathy? Is it like Chatty Charlie? Are you Charlie? I think we have Charlie the rooster here. Very Chatty Charlie. Or Gabby Gabriel. I might be a bit spacey, but I'm just tired right now. That's probably why. But anyway, that was today's entertainment. Have a nice day. This is just some better lighting of Charlie here.